Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and this amazing series. I'm Aditya. In this video, we are going to see Nuxt 3 routes middleware, and we will also see how we can add Tailwind CSS. So without any further ado, let's begin. Okay, so here we have two pages, about and then home page, and also inside the about we have that dynamic about page where we pass the name of the user and we get the details about that user, just like a simple about page. Now what we are going to do is we will create middleware for this about page or this about route so that whosoever want to visit this about route, let's say they have to be authenticated. Now what we are going to do inside our project, we will create a folder, again naming matters. So middleware, and this folder will have all the routes middleware. Now in the last video we saw about server middleware, which runs on every server route. This middleware will run on those specific page routes or all the specific pages route or all the pages route, depending upon how you specify them. So let me show you an example. Let's say we create a simple middleware here, which is auth.js again. Now, if I go to documentation, you will see like we have to create a middleware folder, and there we need to define the middleware by exporting a function, which is export default define Nuxt route middleware. So what we are going to do is I'll just take it from here, paste it over here, and just print that to and from. So console.log 2 is 2 and from is from, so that we can see what's inside that, and we will make this called only on this index.view over here. So let's have something like this over here. So script. Now here we can specify like which, if we want to define middleware over here, so we are going to say define page meta, and here we can define the middleware. So in this case we can use the named middleware property. In this we can define the page meta. So define page meta is, you could say, a macro function or a function that allows you to define configuration for specific pages or individual pages. So in this case we can just simply copy this from here and paste over here. So in this case we are saying that for this about route, this one, only this one, not inside the nested one, but only for this index one, we are saying that this page should behave according to the middleware, what auth middleware has specified. So in this case, if we go back to about page now, so let's go to about. Now let's give it a refresh and see inside our console. Now you will see here we have from and we have to. So it has full path, hash, query, path again, and also it has like where it is coming from. So we just refresh on about, so it's coming from there. Need to do here is, as we could see, to and from. Now here we can just use a flag. Let's say we have a user who is not authenticated, so we will say if true. Okay, let's do like this, const user equal to false. So let's say the user is not authenticated, so we could say if not user, then navigate to. So this is again another function that you don't need to import because it's from Nuxt. So here we can say navigate to wherever it came from. In this case, we'll just take it back to the home page. Now, if we go back over here, if we try to go to about, it still takes us to about. You'll see even if you want to go to about, it won't allow to go to about. We just need to return this navigate to, so that in case if the user is not authenticated, then we cannot really go to the about page. So you can just have it something like this. Now, if you want to make this middleware as global as it shows here, you have to suffix it with .global. So it will become something like this. So rename auth.global, and then this would be a global middleware. Now, if we try to go over here, it shows that this too many redirects because this middleware is continuously running on home page as well. So it will try to it will be like a global middleware. It will be for all the page routes. So in this case, we'll just keep it specific to the about page so that we don't have too many redirects. There we go. If we reload this, that's perfect. All right, let's add Tailwind CSS to our project. Now, if you are new to Tailwind CSS, it's a utility first framework that comes up with lots of CSS classes. And the good thing about it is it only creates a final CSS bundle for the classes that we use. So the classes that we don't use, those classes are not added in the final CSS file, keeping the bundle size as minimum as possible. So here is one example of how Tailwind CSS works, but we will just proceed forward with installation of it. So let's go to get started, then framework guides. Then here they have guides for most of the frameworks. We will go with Nuxt.js. Now here they have given guide for Nuxt 2. So we'll do it for Nuxt 3. So here we just need to copy till this part. We don't need Nuxt post CSS 8. We don't need that. So let's install this. Let's stop this server over here. And let's install this. So here. And then we also need to create Tailwind CSS config file. So let's copy this from here. And once that installation is done, there we go. We add that over there. And once it is added, we should see a tailwind config.js file where we need to specify which component files or which folders or which area Tailwind should look for Tailwind classes and create the final CSS file. So let's go over here and add these configurations. Like let's copy this from here and put it inside our tailwind config.js. Now here we need to be mindful of not putting this config.nuxt.config.js, but here we also need to put another file which is app.view, because our app.view also has certain CSS classes, or it might have certain CSS classes. So we'll just add it over here like this. Now next, we also need to add certain configuration in our Nuxt config.js. Now these configurations are for Nuxt to bundle up the Tailwind CSS and work nicely with Tailwind CSS. So here what we need to do is we don't have to add this one because it's for Nuxt 2, but for Nuxt 3 we need to add this one. So let's copy this from here and add it inside the build object, or let's copy this entire build object like this. And let's go to Nuxt config.js, add it over here. Now here it's going to throw an error because things are changed in Nuxt 3. So we have to pass post CSS, and inside post CSS we have to pass post CSS options, and inside post CSS options we have to pass this plugins, which are Tailwind CSS and Auto Prefixer. That's perfect. Now next thing we need to do is create a main.css file inside assets CSS. So let's create a folder here. Again, naming matters. So assets, and inside assets let's create css main.css. Now whatever files, JavaScript files or CSS files that you put inside the assets folder, they are compiled by the Webpack 5 or Veth. And in case if you want them not to be compiled, you just want them to be used as it is, then they are put in the public folder. So whatever you put in public folder, let's say images, JavaScript file, CSS, they are accessible straight through your components or through your pages, but they aren't compiled. But whatever you keep in assets, they are accessible through your page, through your file components, but they are compiled. So here we need to add those Tailwind directives. So we have these 3 directives. Let's copy them from here, put them over here. And then inside our back to Nuxt config.ts, we need to specify which CSS file to compile for, because we have put it in main.css. So we just need to tell Nuxt that, okay, look for assets css main.css, and you should find the appropriate file that we are using. Now inside custom title.view, let's add some classes to our title. So I'm going to add here, let's say text 3xl, and let's give some color, text blue. Let's give it like 400. Now if this works, that means Tailwind CSS is installed correctly. Now let's run this. So I'm going to do npm run dev and go back to our website over here, and perfect. We have the Tailwind CSS classes reflected. That means Tailwind CSS is installed perfectly. So that's all in this video. In the next video, we will see how we can have state management in our Nuxt 3 project. So see you in the next video. Till the next time, goodbye.